Okay, we're back with the second part of this video here. Now we're at the Mound City Historical Park, and we've got some buildings that have been moved in here, and Ron's going to tell us about each of the buildings that we have here. And over here we have the Mound City Depot, that yellow building. And when did that come in here?
That came in here in, it was in, I'm not sure, but probably the late 70s.
And it was just a couple blocks from here is where it's at.
Yeah, they moved it down here. I mean, it came in here originally, I don't know when it was, but we moved it over to here in the late 70s.
And then this house here was just across the street where the library sits now.
Where the library sits now.
So just like back over
They moved it over
way.
here, and this house was about 1915, I think.
That's the Mound City Library right there.
Yeah.
And we're at 7th and Main in Mound City. And about this house now, you were going to tell me?
This was just a house that was, family by the name of Wurzel lived there. And I think they were original family, and I think the house has been in the family for a long time.
Okay.
And so they moved it over to here when they built the library.
All right.
Okay.
And I see that's a church up there.
That's a school.
A school.
Yeah.
Okay. And well, it says it has a district number on it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. We'll get the district number off here.
Here, let's see here. Now there's a, yeah. District 9, 1804, is that
1860, I think it is.
64 to 1960.
Yeah, to 1960.
Wow.
1864 to 1960.
That's
And the last year, I think, was, somewhere along in there, they had the last year uses it for school. 59. We're going to try to offer it to, we've got quite a group of homeschool kids around here, family. We're going to offer it to them to see if they'll use it. And we're going to try to introduce to the schools, the elementary schools, if they could see a way to come down and holding a class in here periodic, a grade school class.
And to keep it alive.
And keep it alive so kids could get an idea of what school used to be.
Now, where did this gazebo come from?
This gazebo, this was a well that they found, supposedly it was a mineral well. And some businessmen tried to capitalize on it. In fact, they built a hotel across the road here when this was going, and the hotel, I think, gave mineral baths, and anyway, it petered out. It lasted 4, 5, 6 years, maybe 10 years.
Oh, look at this rock wall here.
Yeah.
And then you got a little log cabin over here.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this say over here? This is looks like a memorial.
That's a memorial to one of the pioneer families. In fact, the great-great-great-grandpa Barnes settled east of town and built their first store and post office. And they built it about a half a mile east of the city limits as you came in.
Well, across the street, there's a church over there. What's that?
That's a Catholic church.
The Catholic church right across the street
Right across
on
the
Main
street.
Street here. This is 7th and Main.
And
This will be between 7th and 8th. Okay.
then we have a cabin right here.
We have a log cabin here.
That was moved in here, from about probably 10 miles north of town, northwest of town. As far as we know, it was the last cabin that was built and lived in Linn County. They tore it down and moved it in here piece by piece and rebuilt it. You can see we've got to re-roof it, and that'll be done probably come early spring.
Well, that's our wooden shingles. You think you're going to be able to do that with wooden shingles again?
Well, possibility, not wooden, but we've got a man-made shingle that's plastic, some kind of plastic, some kind of composite that we're probably going to put on it.
Okay.
So we're hoping it'll look original, you know.
And what do you think of this other little, that looks like a loafing shed or
That's
something?
a corn crib.
A corn crib.
Have no history on that at all,
Uh-huh.
except it's old.
Well, a lot of us can say that.
This is a reproduction.
Uh-huh.
Colonel Montgomery was a big force in Lynn County around here, and he lived west of town about 4 or 5 miles. And this is a reproduction. This was a reproduction of his cabin that they called Fort Montgomery.
Okay.
John Brown spent considerable amount of time in here with his family.
Now, where was this, do you think this was?
This was about 4 miles west of town.
4 miles west of town, and John Brown actually stayed in this building.
Not in this building, but the one that was built like it. You notice the cabin. It's got vertical wood instead of horizontal.
Uh-huh.
He built his fort that way because it was safer that way than if you put it acrossways.
How so?
I don't know. I suppose it's a lot closer, you know. I just don't know, but it was safety purposes.
Yeah.
You can see the repair work we've got to do on it.
Yeah, I see the bottom board's missing.
I have a firm out of Springfield that's capable of doing that, and I'm waiting on a quote from them.
And this last stone building up here, is that part of your...
That is part of ours also.
Uh-huh.
That's got a bandwagon in it, an 1865 bandwagon that was used in a circus.
Okay.
And it's still used in parades. In fact, they used it in our big fall parade we have here every year. As a kid,
You say it's a big bandwagon.
it's an old bandwagon. Let me
So
show
a
it.
lot of people can get on it.
Well, no, not a lot. I'll show you what it is.
Okay.
And it's a horse-drawn affair.
All right, I'm going to take a look down here through the park.
Okay.
That's an old barn there, I guess.
Yeah.
And that was moved in here too.
That was moved in. That's the original barn. Everything about it, even the tin. And you can see it's got a sway back in it.
Yeah.
So I've been down to the Amish, and the Amish is going to come up and rebuild it for me.
Well, that's good.
And they're going to use we're not going to destroy anything. We're going to leave it in the original because that was torn down and moved in here piece by piece. The family that owned that barn was part of the family of the monument that we saw here, the barn.
Okay,
The
the
Barnes
Barnes family.
The
And I
Barnes
see you
family.
got a windmill. That's a real working windmill. That used to be used to pump water, did it not?
Yes, it did. In fact, it worked up to a number of years ago.
Uh-huh.
The the Campbell family down by Mapleton brought that up here and installed it and made it work. And so
Okay, let's take a look at this bandwagon.
I want you to see this bandwagon.
It's
Yeah.
pretty fancy, huh? Let's see what we got here.
This building was built in like in 1988, particularly just to store this bandwagon.
Oh, colorful. Fancy. Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that neat?
And you got some horses, you put up draft horses, haul that around?
Yeah, draft horses pull it.
And this is a hose cart for the fire department?
You bet it was. It was it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a nice looking piece of equipment there.
2 guys that get a home.
Yeah, watch your liability there, Larry. We don't pay workman's comp around here.
A circus was in town and went off leaving a big feed bill. So I guess the city paid the feed bill or something like that and kept this wagon.
Oh, that's a good deal.
And it's been rebuilt once,
Well, it's certainly,
but everything in its originals.
it's pretty. It makes a good presentation of that parade, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The Amish are good at making these.
Are they?
Oh, yeah, that's about the only way you go get you a wooden wheel there.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So
I would say these have been done by them too.
I wouldn't be surprised. It looks new.
Oh, yeah, that's really, they
And
do nice work. We look,
did you tell me about this building? Is it?
This building was built in I think about 1990 or thereabouts, just specifically for this because
Oh, okay.
we didn't have a place to we had this in one of the buildings, and vandals were bothering this.
This looks like something from a circus or a show.
It's probably a painting from somebody, but it could have been, because that's what this come from, was a circus.
What do we got? Another one over here? Oh, we got another one over here. It's the same style, but a different pose.
So you guys can kind of get a feel. We got a lot of different areas to go and directions to go to capitalize on all of them. But the main thing I've got to do is to get everything up into shape where it's safe and
When you start right with the roofs,
yeah.
it's gonna save, it gives you time.
Yeah,
Once it starts leaking in here, all this goes fast.
goes fast. And
Oh, you've got this is some sort of printing press, is it not?
well, let me see.
Back here in the corner?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how it works, but that's the real thing there.
I'd say it's Armstrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's a fancy deal there.
I've been extremely lucky, and because we started from scratch, and there's been some people be very generous to us.
It says, all we know, Brown and Carver Cutlery.
I was going to say, it looks to me like maybe that's to cut a big blade of, a bunch of paper or something, cut it
Yeah, it
through.
says keep your fingers away.
Yeah.
Well, Ron, I think that's what I wanted to get here. Real nice.
You got
I really
it.
appreciate you opening up and showing us all this.
I really appreciate it. You guys taking a look. You bet.
If anybody wants to help out, talk to Ron. I think he'd let you help.
You bet.
There's plenty to do around here and lots to deal with. There's lots.
We're just like politicians. If you can help any little bit, send us some money.
Well, I'll tell you, without the generosity of the community and the help of the volunteers, none of these museums would happen.
That's right. Exactly right.
Very nice. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you all.